Welcome to Moana's Meadow Report. Today is August 28th, 2018, Tuesday. And I did work. Oh, my name is Moana, by the way. And I did work today. It was really hard to stay throughout my entire scheduled shift. And anytime I really contemplate going up to ask if I could leave early, I usually have a thought of Uncle Benji in the back of my head saying, no, you're supposed to pick up extra hours, not leave early. So I'm glad I fought that. I just want to discuss with the Dave Ramsey program, we have maintained our emergency fund that we have thus far in our money market account, 900 out of 1,000. Also, one of the quotes that I really liked when I first started researching Dave Ramsey was really neat because it said discipline begets discipline, which is true because when prior to the Dave Ramsey program, we were creating the discipline of getting my husband out of the house with a lunch to take to work, and we weren't financially minded or money minded to be like, well, it's because it's going to save us money. I mean, we knew that, but that wasn't like the main priority. It was just we need to get him on the right track so he could not get stuck with eating all these snacks and all this junk and send him with actual food. And so that was the discipline that started it. And then when Dave Ramsey said discipline begets discipline, I was like, oh my gosh, he's so right. Because once you find out that discipline is easy, you could discipline yourself in other ways. So the other interesting thing that we found out once we started doing the Dave Ramsey program and implementing it, because I heard about Dave Ramsey quite some time before we started utilizing it. And then I wasn't too interested based upon who was telling me the story. I was like, you're not following the program, so why should I? And then another person told me, and I was like, meh, you got it all made anyway, so whatever. But then my husband's cousin told us about the program. He was so passionate, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's right. That's amazing. And then once we started learning about the Dave Ramsey program, it was interesting because we, don't qualify for credit cards, so our credit's so bad. So we already followed that part of the program where you're not supposed to have any credit cards. So just by default, we couldn't have credit cards. And then 2, on having just like used cars. We had used cars all of our life. In fact, we had, like I said on the last video, I believe, we had a free car from my uncle as our wedding gift. And, but let's see, all of the cars prior, like, as far as I'm aware, we've had most of our cars in 1997, like the older cars. And then we did put money down for a newer car. It might have been $9,000 or $1,000 to get this particular car, and it would have been like a 2006, 2009. I'm not sure which, but I got a car. I was in a car accident in that car, and I dissected an artery, broke my back, concussed me, and messed up my shoulder, and of course gave us tons of medical bills. But one of the bills we didn't have to worry about anymore was that car payment. And the funniest part about it was my husband, since I was concussed and like I wasn't cognitive really, and I was hospitalized for 3 days, and which, by the way, is $10,000 a day when you're hospitalized, and the ambulance is $2,000. So folks, be careful out there. It was just some kids drag racing in a parking lot of one of my jobs at like midnight, and I didn't know that was a strip that people used to drag race inside a parking lot. So the winner of the race T-boned me. Physical therapy fees, all of those have, like, the lawyers do their best to cover things, but it doesn't always work out the way you think it should. So we were swimming in medical bills, and with the car payment, my husband realized, wow, we've been paying on it, we've been paying on time, we've been paying extra, and it feels like it takes a huge chunk of our check. So I think it was anywhere between like $300 to $400 a month, but for us that was, ouch, that was hard and rough. And they the insurance company cut a check for that total bill to be wiped out. And when my husband looked at it, he's like, well, that's great that we don't have a car payment anymore, but are you kidding me? For however many years we've been on top of things, we thought, and it still is like we haven't even paid anything down on it. So he just said, nope, we're just going to go back to getting used cars. So we had already been doing that particular part of Dave Ramsey's program, so that was good. So those two things, credit card and having a used car, we were already following. And Dave Ramsey says discipline begets discipline, and it's just like, that's crazy that we were already in the flow of the Dave Ramsey thing. We just weren't, we were super ignorant when it came to the utility for four walls and food and clothing. That was really rough for us. We I don't know, it was not a fun time, and it's character building time. It was fine now that we're done with it, but and we still have a long ways to go compared to where we would like to be. We would like to be to the point where we could go to a really fancy restaurant like once a year. I think the last time we went to a really, really, really fancy, expensive restaurant was like 2 years ago. And it was so fancy, and you're just like, what? Oh, and then probably 5 years before that, we went to a really fancy restaurant. It's the Restaurant in the Sky, I think it is, the Space Needle, and my grandma was amazing, and she took care of that because we were at the end of our trip. All the money was gone, but I called my grandma just saying, we're in Seattle, we don't have a chance to eat at this restaurant, this is the only thing I cared about. And when you eat at the restaurant, you get to go look at look on the observation deck for free. Otherwise, if you're just trying to get on the observation deck, it costs money. So why don't you just eat at the restaurant, enjoy yourself, and then go to the observation deck for free. So these are like little things that I want to be able to start doing. Some other big goals once we get out of baby step 1 and out of baby step 2, which is taking care of our debt. And I'm really looking forward to baby step number 3, which is 3 to 6 months of living expenses. But once we're through those steps, or maybe just barely starting baby step 3, I want to be able to like give outrageously. I want to be able to do some big tips for people, or like, it's amazing how $5 could change someone's day. $10 could give a smile on someone's face. I think the thought alone, not the price, my husband's been teaching this, but the thought alone of you thinking of someone for whatever amount, Cold Stone gift card of $10 or Starbucks gift card of $15, what have you. Those little things, the gestures in and of itself is amazing, and then have money linked to it. Like, it could really change the course of someone's day. I mean, just a small, simple gesture. So I did that recently with someone and they were complaining about something, and I just thought, you know what? There's an easy fix. I'm going to pay for something for them. And I tried to pay for it for them, but they didn't have time. So then I just said, here, let me get you a gift card and just take care of it whenever you want to take care of it. And you don't even have to use it for this. You could use it for other things. And like, they wanted to embrace me and like almost call me family. And that's how powerful, like, I'm just seeing all these things change in front of me and like my mindset, and it's just been amazing. So I do wish you the best in whatever baby step you're in. If you're not doing that program, that's fine. Just try different little experiments, see what could help you shift your mindset about money. And I hope you have an meowsing night. Meow.